Well, hi there. I wanted to invite you to basically what's been kind of like a live masterclass in community building. I've been observing here since I got to Houston, and I grew up here, but it's kind of like new eyes in an old space. I don't know, it's been interesting energy-wise, and I really need a haircut, but that's happening soon. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about empathy and community building, and this amazing example that we had here in Houston yesterday, and actually for the last several days over the protests. This is not a political video. I'm not going to get into those aspects. What I wanted to do with this video was pull out some things that have worked to make this happen here that you can use if you are building a community online for your personal brand, for your business, for your passion project, for your nonprofit. These are some of the aspects of community building that's going to be sustainable and honestly is part of our new normal, part of what we can all get our head around going forward for the new normal. So what I'm referring to specifically is the 60,000 person plus march and rally that happened yesterday here. I did not go. I watched the Twitter feed in the afternoon and into the evening. But 60,000 people marched, gathered peacefully, protested, and it was cathartic. I mean, if you watch the Twitter feed, you could see people posting how proud they were to be part of this community and how safe and heard they felt, and just how relieved it was that there could be a moment like that where they didn't have to feel like there was a safe place to gather with other like-minded people, and they didn't have to be afraid. It was very impactful. And then the result of all of that at the end of the day was there were a few arrests later, about 200 versus 60,000 people, gathering, but almost no property damage and very little incidents of violence. So all in all, nothing is perfect, but this was pretty close to it that we can get today in a very imperfect world. We're all working towards more moments like this. And so what went into having this being able to happen is first thing I want to point out is it didn't happen overnight. And so this is something why I always tell people, if you're waiting to go online, there's no reason to wait, because the longer you wait, the longer it's going to take you to build community, because it takes a while. The reaction of the people at this event yesterday didn't just pop up overnight. This was the fruits of the labor of the leadership for a long time here in Houston, and they've shown up consistently, which is one of the things that is helpful to you online too. You want to start to show up consistently for your tribe, where they hang out. You want to be inclusive and respectful so that they feel like you're creating a safe place. You want to truly listen to them, and the way that they know you've done that is not when you hear them and then tell them what, here's the answer, here's the solution. You have your hand in your back pocket. You want to give it to them before they've even gotten the words out of their mouth. And that's not the energy we're looking for when you're creating an empathetic environment. You want to reflect back. The way that they know you've really heard them is you reflect back to them, this is what I heard. And you can do this online, because social media is a conversation. It's not about how often you post. It's about the engagement that you're providing and that you also get on your post. So reflect back to them what you heard, from what they were saying. It gives them a chance to clarify in their mind, was that really what I meant? Yeah or no, it wasn't. And when you truly listen to people and you help them clarify their feelings, that's very powerful, because honestly, it's not very common. So if you build that into your online interactions, it's going to take you a long ways. Then the other point that I have seen here is this idea that I am with you. I'm with you in this journey. I'm not you. I haven't walked in your shoes. I can't say that I know exactly how you feel, where you come from, but I am with you. Chief Acevedo does a really good job of this. He talks with them he uses a lot of the language of the protesters and the activists, so that even if he and the police department don't agree on everything that they're saying, they know they've been heard. And then also the people who are protesting the horrific racial violence that has happened in our country. He's like, I'm angry too. I watched a video on Twitter and he's talking about, I'm angry too. This makes me really mad as well. I understand how you feel. I am with you. Literally, he's walking with the crowd when he's talking about this. But then he brings in a community, though, people also want to know, there are boundaries, because that's what creates a safe community, is boundaries, right? So at the same time, he's telling protesters, activists, everyone, I'm with you. I'm angry about these issues as well. He's also saying, but I'm not going to allow anybody to tear up this town. So, but then he follows it on, it's because it's our town. This is our town. So he kind of turns it back on them to say, this is our place. We're not going to allow anybody to tear up this town. And as he was addressing this small group of protesters, a couple of them were going, yeah, that's right. That's not what we want here either. That's not why we're here. We're here in the memory of George Floyd, and we don't want these things to happen again. And then it gave them a chance to really express why they were there. They weren't there to break windows, and he knew that, but he just wanted to reiterate that this is our town. And I saw that happen in another video on Twitter, which was two groups of young men, a little bit of a confrontation. One of them had paint cans, and they were going to graffiti. I mean, that was the assumption, because that's sure what it looked like. And the other group of young men, which were African-American men, the one guy was saying, he goes, you can't do that. That's not why we're here. And besides that, if you do that, they're going to say it was us. And then the whole thing, it undermines why they're there. And that's not why we're here. And so the upshot was those guys ran away. They left their paint cans there. And basically that situation had no police involved, but the community was policing itself and the event. So that's the magic of what starts to happen when you give out the message that you're not a top-down, king, leader. You are facilitating your group, and it's a safe place with boundaries. And then the people within it that feel a connection to that group, feel some ownership around it, they start to watch out for each other and for threats to the group. So it's pretty amazing. And I've seen this happen in online groups as well. So I just want to end this with saying I've listed these points in a download that you can grab if it's of interest to you. But what we're seeing here that's really interesting is the balance of the masculine and the feminine energy. And I like this example because there's another one online that I like as well. This example is, you can't find really a more an institution more entrenched in masculinity in our country than the police and the military, and that's part of the issue, right? So I think one reason we're seeing that here in Houston, an example of how this can move ahead, hopefully, there's still lots of work to do, but is because the police chief here has invited in and exemplified some of the feminine energy of listening, collaboration, tolerance, patience, at the same time, in the same conversations, often reiterating, but I'm still here to protect, I'm here sworn to protect and serve the city, and so is the police department. So it is this interesting dynamic of the evolution of an institution that desperately needs to evolve into a more shared energy expression that ends up with everyone feeling safer when those energies are in balance. Okay, so you may not have people in your group getting ready to protest in the streets, 60,000, but you can bring these tips around empathy and this overall idea around more empathetic communication and listening to what you're building online, because if you're, I'm sure that what you're working on is going to do great things in the world, and I just want you to be able to scale that and help as many people as possible around that. And these tips, I think, will help you with that. If you have any questions around it, the reason I'm talking about it is because I work on this stuff with my clients all the time. We talk about empathy and messaging, because it's not just about video. It's like, what are we going to say and why are we going to say it? And I would say that's more than half of what I do, if not 80%. So if you have any questions around this, I'm here for you. Thanks. Bye.